Okay, so I'm digging around. We're going to be looking at my soil profile of this particular field here, but this is that little test plot I was going to try some stuff with in soybeans where it was no-till and I tilled it up. And so it was kind of neat to see that a couple years of no-till to get that soil life engine pumping and running, how quickly it healed behind the tillage and set that soil structure right back up. And so you could see it in that video where I walked after the 3-inch rain event where I was out here looking at the beans and I was hardly leaving a shoe mark. I could have been out here in flip-flops. And my friend's field, we went out there and you're sinking up to your ankle in muck. And so that was kind of nice to see. But the worm life is a little diminished. It's definitely here. It's definitely improved from where we used to be, but it's a little harder to find a worm. But we are coming into the beginning of July. It's 4th of July today. And so we're just kind of coming into that hot spell. So for one, we can see how gray the top is starting to get. We can see in the side profile, it's kind of misleading because this has been exposed for 15 minutes, so you can already see it starting to gray down. But the moisture, you know, the top little bit is getting dry very quickly. And so like that. But the big thing today is compaction. We used to always fight compaction on the farm with mechanical things, you know, horsepower and plows and chisel plows and disc rippers, because compaction was a real problem. You'd see it on the roots would grow down and then they'd turn and run horizontal, and that's where your water would sit too, and that's why you had such wet soil in the spring and the fall. But during the growing season you had drought conditions, and you're just like, what the heck, we've had all this rain, how can we be in drought? Because that water never got to really saturate into the subsoil, the roots never got to get into the subsoil, and so you lost a lot of potential. And so if we start looking at compaction as a symptom, not as a complete problem, in this particular field, we can zoom in down here and you can see that it's turned to clay there, but that clay is soft. It's about 2 inches deep. I can just poke the knife in, no big deal. So the plant roots, we can take a soil probe into a cornfield of last year, and the soil probe going down through last year's corn stump will go right through that clay. It is non-existent in last year's corn row, but since we did tillage, that's gone, so it's back. But these bean roots will get through it too, and so I think the future here so I got some fields like this, and then I've got them fields that are pure blow sand with some clay and no clay underneath. So the future here is bring back alfalfa into the rotation and probably do a lot more corn on corn for 4 or 5 years in a row on some of these grounds like this, to get just that absolute mass of roots down there. Because what we do by getting humus and roots in the soil is, you can see how that piece of residue is in that dirt. So that dirt, it takes no effort. But think about it from the weight of the equipment. I can crush that residue, but that residue acts as a cushion, so the soil doesn't get so tight around it. And it takes zero effort with my thumb to just crumble that around. This piece of dirt was a couple inches lower. You can still see some residue, so it was fairly close to the dirt, to the top. I can feel on my thumb that it takes quite a bit more pressure, and the dirt just kind of explodes apart. It's good, healthy soil. It grows a tremendous amount of crop. I'm not knocking my own dirt here, but it's the facts. It's lacking a lot of humus. And you can see that when I stop breaking it, it stops breaking apart. Where on this one, you know, I'm pushing here and I move it away and it's all little pieces, you know. You can just, obviously you can't feel through the video, but you can see on my fingers how little energy I'm using to break it apart. On that one, you can see how it just shattered. And so we've got to build root mass down here. We've got to get humus. We just need organic matter down there. We got to get more protection for our soil life and our worms so they can live in this environment more. On that bare dirt, I should, some other day this summer, I should get a temperature probe out there, and we'll do a temperature thing on a hot day of that soil temperature versus a residue covered soil temperature, and we'll look at how much moisture is still in that top surface. But yeah, so that's kind of our profile here of what we're dealing with. And I know it's not a popular take to join this no-till, minimum till, rotational till, strip till club. To do anything other than full tillage, you're just a kook fringe lunatic. But my soil is right. I can't argue with what's happening down there. So the other big part of where our strip till comes in is I run my strip till to run right on top of that clay. I do not want to try and run through that clay because of the extra horsepower. I don't want to be moving that clay around in my profile. So the whole thing with strip till is that I'm running right on top of that clay. The fertilizer's right there. That's going to stop that fertilizer from leaching down the ground, getting away from my plant. And then we're promoting root growth. With nutrients right there, the roots are going to hit it, the root growth is going to explode. We're going to have humus very quickly. I think maybe I'll find a corn stump here and go dig a hole up, and we'll see what that one looks like. I have no idea. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. I don't know.